everybody, welcome back to Kelly Barlow Creations. If you're new to my channel and stopping by for the first time, thank you for stopping by. Welcome to my channel. Stick around a while by clicking that red button for more crafting on a budget, more everything on a budget videos to come. And if you click it again when the bell appears, YouTube will notify you when I'm uploading a new video. If you're interested in following me on social media, you can find those links in the description box below. I've come out with some stinking cute new merchandise in different styles and colors. You can find the link to my merchandise in the description box below. So what do I have going on for you for today? Today, I'm bringing to you another DIY using Dollar Tree's tumbling tower blocks. I have bought these by the cases online from dollartree.com, and so if there are some of you out there who are saying you can't get these in your store or your store doesn't seem to be carrying these, you can very easily buy these online. I don't have a specific SKU number because when I've tried to use the SKU number that comes on the box, it doesn't come up. I just type in on dollartree.com the tumbling tower blocks and it comes right up. You can buy the case of the natural or the multicolor blocks, either one, and 24 come in a case. And so I've bought about 4 cases of them because I tell you, I've got some really cool DIYs in mind and in store for you coming up over the next couple of months. I can't wait to bring you today's DIY because today's DIY I will be making a jewelry holder out of these tumbling tower blocks. So let's jump into it and let me show you how I make a jewelry holder using these wooden blocks.
For this DIY, I will be using 6 boxes of Dollar Tree's tumbling tower blocks. I also picked up a 12-pack of these mini hooks that are a self-adhesive hook. I'll also be using Waverly's chalk paint in the color of ink and ivory, and some of Aleene's tacky glue that you can also get from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to start off by gluing 19 of these blocks together side by side. And because I'll be painting this later, I'm not worried about the multicolored blocks. Because I've done so many of these block DIYs, I've found that once I glue my rows together, if I take and push my rows up against a ruler, it really does give you a nice straight row. I'm going to do 2 additional rows of 19 blocks just like this one. Now that I've got my 3 rows of 19, I'm going to glue all 3 rows together side by side. Then I'm going to take and glue 7 blocks long ways along each side of this. At the bottom, you'll see that my blocks are a bit longer. That's okay because these will be the legs to this jewelry stand. I'm going to make a total of 3 of these panels. Once I've got all 3 of my panels glued together, using Waverly's chalk paint in the color of ink, I'm going to give all 3 of these panels a nice base coat with this chalk paint. If you want to use an apple barrel acrylic paint, you can do so. I'm just using what I have on hand. And I love this chalk paint by Waverly because it really is a good one-coat paint. I've got all 3 of my panels good and painted on the front and back side. I did just one simple base coat with the paint. Wasn't looking for perfection because for this next step, I will be using Waverly's chalk paint in the color of ivory. And I'm going to do kind of a dry brush look on these panels. And I will be using water to do this. The technique I like to use when achieving that weathered look to whatever it is that I'm painting through a dry brush technique, I do use a bit of water. I dip my brush in the water and then I put a very minimal amount of paint on the end of my brush. And going in the same direction I brush on my paint, I'm going to put a very light coat of this Waverly chalk paint on. You can go as light or as heavy as you like. And I'm going to do the front and the back of all 3 of my panels this way. They're going to dry fairly quickly because it is a very thin coat of paint. with the water. And once these panels are dry, you'll see what I do next to soften this look up and give it even more of that weathered look. Now, using a very fine grade sandpaper, this is a P400, this is one that I either got at Lowe's or Walmart, I'm gonna lightly go over the top of my panels where the ivory chalk paint is that I just applied with that dry brush technique. And this is going to soften this piece up quite a bit. It doesn't take much work at all. You can see just by lightly sanding this how it softens it up, and it really does achieve more of that weathered look that I'm going for this. And once I'm done sanding my panels, I'm going to take a damp cloth and I'm going to wipe over each of my panels to remove any of that excess dust that's left from sanding this. Now it's time to put this jewelry stand together. Again, I will be using Aleene's Tacky Glue. This is a glue that I've seen great results with when doing these block DIYs. If you have your own preference of glue, by all means use it. I just like this glue. It's inexpensive and it works great. I'm going to place some of the glue on the side of my panel. Then by standing up another panel, I'm going to glue it to the side. I'm going to use 2 glue bottles to hold it up till it dries, just so it doesn't fall over and it stays and it dries straight. I let these panels dry for about 2 hours. They're good and dry. It held together perfectly. For the last panel, I'm going to place some glue right along this top edge of this panel here. It's going to be easier to glue this panel on if this is standing up. So I stood it up. I'm going to glue it right along the side of it. And again, I will be using my bottles to hold it in place until it dries. For these mini hooks that I picked up from the Dollar Tree, these came in a 12-pack in silver. You can also get them in white. I don't much like the silver for this DIY, so I'm going to use my Waverly chalk paint and I'm going to put a good couple coats on these hooks. And just a trick, if you place these in the oven to dry, it really does bake on the paint and it really helps protect it from scratching off. My hooks are good and dry and they are ready to be placed on this stand. I'm going to randomly place these hooks in different places on this stand. I figured in some places it would be good to put the hooks a bit higher up on the stand for those longer necklaces. You can put some hooks lower down on the stand for those bracelets. You can put as many hooks as you'd like on this. I'm going to place it in 2 different areas on each panel because I'll be using this basically just for necklaces and bracelets. You could even put rings and earrings on this. This is such a versatile piece that you can really use it for so many different things. It doesn't necessarily have to be just for bracelets. You can add as many hooks as you want and make it a ring holder. Or if you like hoop earrings, you can put your hoop earrings on this. It really is a great piece that you can really just do to suit your needs. And I thought I'd finish this DIY off with a couple of my easy to do twine flowers. I will link that video in the description box below if you'd like to see how easy it is to make these flowers. Using some of my black Waverly's chalk paint, I thought I'd brush on just a bit of paint onto the ends and the tips of these flowers just to give them a bit of color and to tie it into this DIY. For the center of these flowers, I thought I'd finish them off with a couple of black buttons that I had in my stash. And with some hot glue, I just hot glued it to the top corner, one on each side of this stand. And like I said before, I'm using this stand for necklaces and bracelets because I've got these longer necklaces. My jewelry box doesn't have the hooks in it, and so this was definitely something that I needed for my necklaces. And if you've got some pretty hoop earrings, you could hang them on this as well. I was easily able to hold 3 rings on each hook if this is something that you wanted to put more hooks on and use as a ring holder. I love the outcome of this. I think that this is such a fun way to display and hold my necklaces and bracelets, and the amount that it holds is the perfect amount for me. You could easily, again, add more hooks to suit your needs. Not only could you use this as a jewelry holder, but I made a second one and gifted it as a picture holder. I decided to use the mini clothespins and I added several of them on both sides. You could hold 4x6s, 5x7s, 3 wallets on each panel if you wanted to. And I thought that this was such a cute way to display pictures as well.
How fun is this piece using those blocks? This is such a fun, inexpensive piece, and there are multiple uses for it, which is something I really love. If you don't want to use it for jewelry, like I said, you can use it for photos, and it makes for a great gift to give. I hope you all enjoyed today's video. Please give this video a thumbs up, and let's get this video to 3,000 likes, because those thumbs up, they really do help my channel to grow, and it helps YouTube to notice me just a bit more. Until next time, everybody, I hope you have a fantastic day. Happy crafting on a budget, and bye for now, everybody.